Hello everyone and welcome to this Python Seaborn tutorial for beginners. In this tutorial, I'm going to start by explaining what is Seaborn and how and why it's being used. And then I'm going to show you the different kind of plots you can create using Seaborn in Python for your data analysis and machine learning models. I'm going to start by explaining you how to create line graphs and the different kind of options you have when you're creating line graphs. Then we're going to move into bar plots, how to create them, different example of bar plots. Then we're going to cover histograms, again, how to create them, different examples, box plots, how to create them, examples, different options you have when you're creating box plots. After that, we're going to cover scatter plots, how to create them, different options, changing color, changing shapes. After that, we're going to cover lmplot, which is a combination of regplot and a FacetGrid. So basically regression plots, again, how to create them, different options as you can see here. After that, I'm going to cover subplots, how to create them and different options you have. After that, pair plots, as you can see, how to create them, different options, different examples. And then I'm going to touch on join plots, how to create a join plot. And at the end, I'm going to show you how to create a heat map using SNS Seaborn in Python. If you want to follow this tutorial through, which is actually the best way of learning, I'm going to have a link in the description where it's going to take you into my GitHub repository. Here, I'm going to have 3 files. The first file is the raw data that I will be using for this tutorial, so you can actually download it and use it. The second file is the notebook with just the titles, and the third file is the notebook with the titles and the code in case you do want to have the full code. Right, so what is Seaborn? Seaborn is a statistical data visualization Python library which is based on Matplotlib. Data analysts and data scientists are using Seaborn to generate all these nice plots that I've shown in the beginning of the video in order to identify trends, relationships, and outliers for their analysis and data science projects. It is easier for people to understand relationships and trends using plots versus just numbers. This is why it's very important to know how to use these visualization libraries. In my opinion, Seaborn is actually easier and faster to use versus Matplotlib just because you use less code to generate the same, if not better, graphs. However, I do recommend that you should know how to use both because there are some things you cannot do with just Seaborn, and you're going to have to use a combination of both libraries. Right, looking at the packages we're going to need for this tutorial, Seaborn has actually some dependencies. So you're going to need to have NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib with Seaborn. Otherwise, Seaborn is not going to work. So if you don't have any of those, all you have to do is type in pip install and then the library you need in the terminal, and then it's going to start downloading. And then we just run this and we move on. The first thing we have to do is to load our raw data that we will be using for this tutorial into a Pandas data frame. To do this, all we have to do is give a name to our data frame. So I'm going to name it raw data equals pd.read CSV, read underscore CSV, open brackets, open codes. And then you have to go in the location that you've downloaded the file from the link, and then copy the path. So click on the path, copy it, and then go back in the code, paste it into the codes, use double forward slash, I think is the name of it. And then at the end, you also need to copy the name of the file. So marketing row, I click on it, and then I copy it, and then I go back in the code, I paste it. And at the end, I say .csv because it's a CSV file, CSV, and then I run it. You can see it works, no error. I want to run all the data, so I copy this, paste it down here just to visualize it. So just to quickly go over this data frame, we have dates, weeks, week ID, month, month ID, year, day name, and then our numeric columns is the visitors, the revenue, and the marketing spend. And we also have a categorical column called promo, which is basically the promotion. If it's no promo, promotion red, and promotion blue. However, I'm just going to run the first 5 rows because I don't want to take all the space. So I can just simply say raw data.head, and this is going to return the first 5 rows. Right, going down to our first plot is going to be a line graph. So let's say we want to investigate the trend between date and revenue just to see if we are making more revenue as we go, or we used to make more revenue before, or it's kind of flat. To create a line graph now, all you have to do is say AX equals, AX stands for axis. You can use any name you want really there, but usually people use AX for graphs. And then say sns.lineplot, lineplot, open brackets. We need our X equals and then our Y equals. So my X is going to be the date because I want to investigate the revenue by date. And my Y is going to be the revenue. And then after this, I need to specify the data frame that you're going to take the X and Y from. So I can say data equals, then copy and paste the data frame. So copy it, paste it, run it. There we go. So now we can see the revenue by date. And just to see how many data points we have, I'm just going to print the shape quickly up here. Print.shape, close brackets, run it. We have a total of 182 data points down here. That's why it's not easy to visualize them. And as we can see, we're kind of making more revenue here, but it's not too clear. What we can do is change this date by, let's say, month or week. I'm going to change it to week ID because it's continuous. Week is not going to work. And now we can easily visualize the revenue by week. And we can get a better idea versus by day because it was too much. So as you can see, it's kind of negative or flat, I would say, just because the last week is not really complete. So yeah, it's negative to flat. By the way, the error bands, the top line and the bottom line, the one with the lower shade, they show the confidence interval, the 95% confidence interval. Right, on the next example, let's say that I do want to see the performance of revenue. However, I want to see it by promotion. So I have 3 promotions. I do want to see 3 different lines. To do this, I can quickly copy the one I have above here, paste it down here, and then after data or anywhere really, it doesn't matter, I can say comma, hue equals, and then put the category I want to break this graph into. So I'm going to put promo into hue. And then run this. Now we can see, again, it's not too clear because it's too small, but we can see that we have the no promo, so no promotion at the end, making the list of revenue. Then we have promotional blue in the middle, and then we have the highest performing promotion, which is the green line, but it's actually promotion blue. Another option we have is to change the style of the lines just to be a bit clearer. So let's say dotted lines or lines with breaks. To do this, I can copy the code I have here, paste it down here in example 3, and after promo say comma style equals, and I want to change the style based on my hue, which is the promo. So I want 3 different styles. So if I run this now, we'll be able to see that we've changed promotion blue to be dotted line, the promotion red to be the line with breaks, and then no promo, it kept it as a single line. However, as you can see, this plot is too small and it's not easy to understand what's going on. So what we want to do is to increase the size of the plot and also remove the confidence interval. So it's going to be more clear and, more neat and easy to understand. Right, to change the size of the plot, all we have to do is say sns.set, open brackets, rc equals. I'm not too sure what this rc stands from, but it's from where you can change the figure size. So I can say figure dot fig size. Actually, this has to be in quotes. We do know this function from Matplotlib tutorials, if you remember. So figure dot fig size, and then I have to say colon, and in the brackets I have to put the figure size. So I want it to be 12 to 10, and then if I run this, no error, and then I'm going to copy exactly the same graph as I have above. Copy, paste it down here, run it, and now as you can see, the size has increased. Additionally, I do want to remove this confidence interval, so I can just say comma ci equals false, and then run this. So there we go. So now it removed the confidence interval lines too. So it's much clearer now to understand and visualize. Right, the next thing I want to show you is how to add the markers. So I'm just going to quickly copy this from here, paste it down here, and then after the confidence interval equals false, I'm going to say comma markers equals true, and then run this.
So there we go. As you can see now, it's a nice aesthetic. We've added a circle next to no promo, and then promotional red we've added the X, and then on promotional blue we've added the square. So let's say we want to change this week ID now into month ID just to see a more even clearer view. So I can go to the top, copy the month ID, and then paste it down here. We just want to see the data by month now. There we go. So it's much clearer now that promotion blue is actually the good promotion, it performs the best. Then promotion red, and then the no promo generates the least of the revenue. Right, on the next example now, let's say that we want to change the hue now to be, so the category to be by day name. So I'm just going to copy the whole thing, paste it down here, and then here when I say hue, I'm just going to scroll at the top, copy the name of the column because I'm a bit lazy to type it in, and then paste it down here, and then run it just to visualize what this is going to do. There we go. So maybe you think it's too much, but what this is saying to me, it has the data by month and it shows the month and the revenue. Then our hue, so the category, so the color basically, as you can see here, of the lines is based on the day name. So as we can see, this purple here is actually Friday and it's performing very well. And then the style is by promo. So the style is basically if it's a circle, an X, or a square. So what we get out of this graph, very quick insight, is that this purple here, so this Friday with promotion blue is actually killing it. And then this line over here, which is red, so this Thursday with promotion blue again is actually doing very well. If I want to simplify this even more, I can change the month ID into year. So I can just copy this, which is our last example of a line graph. Change the month ID into the year. So the year is, let me scroll up the top so you can see, it's this year over here, and then run it. So let's run it. So what this is telling us now, it has exactly the same hue and promo as the previous graph, but now we see the data by year. And this is 2020, so this is last year, and this is 2021, this is actually this year. And what this is telling me is that this blue here with the square, so promotion blue on Monday last year was performing much better than how it performs this year because it dropped so much. And then for Friday, so I picked Friday promotion blue, last year it was doing worse than what it does this year, so it's actually doing better this year. However, this depends on how many data points we have this year and last year, as our data is dummy data and not complete. But I'm just showing you a way to use line graphs to investigate your promotion or to investigate your data basically, because you're not going to have the same data frame. If you want to learn more about line graphs or line plots, you can click on this link over here, which is going to take you into the Seaborn documentation of line plots, and you can read more about line plots. By the way, if you feel that you're gaining enough value out of this video, I would really appreciate it if you click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Right, moving down to bar plots. The first bar plot we want to create is the revenue by month. So to do this, all we have to do is say AX equals SNS.barplot, open brackets, and again, we need an X, a Y, and then from where to take the data, which is the same as the line plot that we've done up here. So I'm just going to copy it, paste it down here, and I want to change my X to be the month ID because I want this to be by month. My Y is the revenue, and then I want to take this revenue and month ID from the raw data, which is our data frame. And if I run this now, we can see that we have the months down here and then how much the revenue they've generated. However, something to be very careful is that it takes the mean by default. So this month here, month ID 11, is not actually the sum of the revenue, it's actually the mean. And if we want to investigate this further, we can just calculate the mean ourselves. So I'm just going to quickly calculate the mean. So I need to have the, from my data frame, I need to select the revenue and the month ID. So copy this, paste it. I need to group by month ID. And I also need to aggregate the data by 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. I want to aggregate it by revenue, and I want to take, I'm going to start by taking the sum just to visualize it. So you can see now this query here, it just quickly pivoted the data from our data frame. It summed the revenue by month. So month 11, month ID, sorry, 11, it has 247,000. However, here we only have just about, I don't know, 11,000. So if I change this into mean, we can see now the numbers match. So it's about 11,000, and then let's say the last month ID is about 7,600, which seems correct. So if we want to actually have a bar plot by the sum of the month, we have to save this data frame now in a new data frame, and then run our bar plot in based on the new data frame. However, I'm not going to do this, just to save a bit of time. The lines now that we have down here, I haven't explained, they show the confidence interval. Same way with the shades in the line graph. If I want to remove the line, so I don't want to see the confidence interval, I could just copy this, paste it down here, which is our next example. And the same way with the line graph, we can say comma, confidence interval equals either none or false, both gonna work. So we have, there we go. So we have exactly the same graph now without the lines, which is the confidence interval. Our next example now is that we want to add the hue. So we want to see the same data. So now is the average, is not the total, the average revenue by month by promotion. So I can just copy this, paste it down here, and then add comma hue equals, and then here I add the promo. So you understand now how easy it is to use Seaborn now to create your graphs versus Matplotlib. We just use the same functions as we've used in LinePlots, BarPlots, and we can change our graphs, our plots to be the same as we want them to be. So now what we get out of this graph or this plot is that promotion blue on average per day, it generates a lot more revenue versus promotion red or the no promo. Right, the next example now, example 4, is that I want to take this graph as it is and I want to flip it. So I want to have month ID at the y-axis and revenue at the x-axis, just to show how to have a horizontal bar chart. To do this, I can just copy the same code as I have up here, paste it down here. I need to change my x-axis now to be revenue. So I want revenue to move down here, and I want month ID to move up there. So I copy month ID and I paste it there. Additionally, I need to add orient. So orient equals H, which stands for horizontal. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if I run this now, we can see we have exactly the same graph as above, but we just flipped it from vertical into horizontal. Additionally, we can just change the month ID into year now, just to change it a bit. And we can see now the average revenue by day, by promo, by year. And again, we get the same story. Promotion blue is actually killing it. Right, the last thing I'm going to show into BarPlots is how to change the color. So I'm going to quickly copy the same code from example 4 into example 5 and then just run it. And then all I have to do to change the color is after orientation, say comma color equals, and then I'm just going to say green, run it. And as you can see, it created 3 variations of color green that shows the no promo, promotion red, and promotion blue. I can just say red here, run it. We can see it creates variations. Another cool way of picking colors, this is what I love, is that you can copy this link into your browser, paste it, run it, and then from here now we can select a color variation that we want. So I'm just going to stay here on the bluey and greeny. Select a color that we want from here, and then copy this hex, copy, and then paste it into color, and it's going to readjust to what we have in the coloring there, which is a very cool way of picking colors. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Right, moving down to histograms now. Histograms are actually a great way of investigating the distribution of your data. And the first example we're going to show is the histogram showing the distribution of revenue. To do this, first of all, we need to specify an array that has just revenue. So to do this, I can just say row data dot open brackets and then select revenue. So if I run this, we can see this is just the revenue numbers. And if I want to see an array, I can just say dot values, and then this is going to be a NumPy array. Second thing I have to do now is to plot this array. So to plot this array, I can say sns.dist, so distribution plot. So for histograms in SNS, it's actually called dist plot. Open brackets, I want to plot this x. So actually put x equals. So I've just saved this array now into x. And now here is that I'm going to plot the array. So if I run this now, you can see now we have the distribution of our revenue. So how many data points we have on 0 or 0 to, I don't know, 200, 200 to 400, and then etc, etc. Additionally, I do want to change the color now. So I'm just going to say color equals blue. Color equals blue, just to make it a bit nicer. What we can see now is that it's a right skewed distribution. It's actually on the left, but we call it right because the mean, so if I plot the mean, which is actually the next thing we're going to do, the mean is going to be on the right. So it skews the data slightly on the right. To plot the mean now, which is actually the second thing, is first we have to calculate the mean. Calculate the mean, I can just copy this, paste it down here, and just say mean equals row data revenue dot mean. And then if I run the mean, copy, paste, run it, we can see that the mean is about $10,581. Then I want to move this mean down here where I said calculate the mean. After that, I want to copy the plot, same plot as I have up here, copy it and paste it down here, and then run it. And down here, I want to plot the mean, and this is where Matplotlib it comes into play. We're going to say plt dot what is it, axv, so axis vertical line, open brackets. I want to plot the mean, comma, I want to plot the mean into 0, 1, because mean is going to be my axis, so it's going to come down to 16 or somewhere here. And then 0, 1 is actually the y-axis, 0 to 1. And also I want to change the color to be red. So color equals red. And if I run this now, it's loading. Okay, there we go. So now we have the mean. And I said is right skewed just because, so there we go. So we say it's a right skew just because the mean is to the right of the distribution. It's not actually massively right skewed, but because the mean not exactly in the middle, we can say that the distribution is slightly right skewed. Moving down to the next example now, I want to investigate the distribution of visitors now, and I also want to display the mean as I have done up here. So this is actually very easy. I can just copy all the code I have in example 2, paste it down here in example 3, change the revenue into visitors, and also change the so this is how calculate the mean. I also want to copy the x, so my x now has to be the visitors too. So I'm just going to copy and paste the x, change the x to be visitors too. I want to change the color to be red, so this is the distribution plot. I want it to be red, and the color of the line I want to make it, let's say, black. And if I run this now, we can see this is the distribution of the visitors. Again, it's very similar to the distribution of revenue. It's a slightly right distribution as the mean is on the right, but usually I would say for both of them is a normal distribution. It's not bad. It's good enough to work with. Right, this is it for this video. I'm going to finish the rest of the tutorial in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video and you've gained enough value out of it. If you feel like you did, I would really appreciate it if you click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Additionally, if you have any questions or there is something you want to comment on, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching.